Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, 20 takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack. In today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey player Everett Thompson of the Motor City Rockers of the Federal Prospects Hockey League. Everett is in his 5th year of professional hockey at the Federal Prospects Hockey League and the Southern Professional Hockey League level. Prior to turning pro, Everett spent time in the NOJHL for juniors, as well as playing 4 years at Davenport University for college hockey. So this is gonna be a really fun episode, Everett. So I'm glad we're able to find some time between both of our busy schedules. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. So welcome to the show, Everett Thompson.
Thank you, man. Thank you. A little bit of history there. I have a lot of it there, huh? 5 years already. That goes by quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we'll get into all 5 years here coming up soon. But start things off, like how have you been? Like it's been a busy stretch for the Motor City Rockers and yourself recently. So like, how's everything with you?
I'm good. Just got off of a tough weekend against Danbury. They're a good hockey club, and then we're getting ready here for a weekend against Carolina here at home, and then we get ready for the Christmas break here. Much needed break here. Everyone could use a little rest, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That rest will be much needed to get things going before Christmas, and then after Christmas, it's crazy to think the second half of the season starting. So you're gonna have to. So this is where the playoff pushes like really start to happen. So it's gonna be fun watching you guys play and go for that playoff run.
Yeah, we've got some pretty good success here early. I think we got a good group in here from the expansion draft on. Obviously, we've had some stuff change with the roster and whatnot, but it's been working out pretty well so far, I'd say.
Yeah, so like how has this first year in Motor City been? Like it's a new expansion team, like you said. You got a lot of guys from the expansion draft, a lot of them mixing and matching to start the years. Like where's everything at right now, and like everything in Fraser?
So Fraser's it's an old school town, right? It's kind of like a blast from the past.
Yeah.
It's an old school. It's a blue collar town, so it does a good job of representing how we play. Really, we bring a hard work ethic to the game. We don't exactly maybe have the flashiest skill guys all the time, but we work hard and put the puck in the back of the net, and we usually through 60 minutes we compete for all 60. So that's our kind of our motto. We're kind of a team of misfits here. We just got guys from all over. Really, if you look at our roster, you'll maybe look at a guy and be like, wow, that guy hasn't played in like 5 years, right? It's like, yeah, he hasn't. And here he is. And, we've got a couple of those types of guys, and we're making it work, though. We're fitting it in with a couple of guys that have had some success in other places. And, it's like I said, it's been working out really well here. We got a really good group.
Yeah, and everything's starting to come together, especially like on the score sheet. Like you guys are winning games. You guys are last I checked, you guys were first place. So like everything clicking right now, and so like it's always good to be ahead when you guys are up top.
Definitely, it's good to be where we're at going into the break, I think. But I also think we can improve on a few
Yeah.
things in certain areas and get even better past the break and beyond. So I think we'll have something around the playoff time that'll be really competitive, and I think we'll put a really good push for that championship this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And like you're from Michigan, so you're playing a team in your home state. So how cool is it to represent Motor City, and especially since you're from Walker, Michigan? So like what's it been like being the hometown kid?
So I am like 3 hours away. I'm from the other side of the state, so it's not exactly like I'm at home, but it is nice to be in a familiar place. Like
Yeah.
it's a place that I played at as a kid. Like especially this area, like you come from the other side of the state over here a lot to play, so it's not uncommon. But like I said, it is cool. We've got a lot of like hometown local guys as well, which it's really cool for them. Like obviously, they a lot of the time they got their mom and dad are here. Some guys have their kids, so it's really awesome for those types of the guys that are really close. So for them, it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And like what's it been like in Michigan growing up? Like you're like I'm sure you like yeah, like you said you visited Fraser before when you're growing up. So like and like Michigan's a really good like youth hockey like organization all throughout
Yeah.
Michigan. So like how was it like how was it
So
growing up
like
throughout that?
So personally, everything for me growing up was just to get to high school. My dad was a high school hockey coach for a long time. A lot of everyone that I knew growing up, for the most part, just played high school hockey, and that was kind of it. And like that was kind of that was the career. And growing up, that was definitely it for me as well. I didn't even know about like junior hockey until I was probably like 15 years old. There was one guy from my school who did it. I saw him when I was like a freshman do it, and it was like, wow, what's he doing? That's crazy. Like he's playing junior hockey. That's in Canada. That's nuts. Like I know just no experience with that. So it was really like everyone that I knew was a local, just wanted to play high school, like, and that was really cool growing up though, because you didn't have this outside noise. It was just focused on playing for your school and playing with your buddies. So it was really awesome to grow up in that environment. To be honest, it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you grew up throughout Michigan playing with the West Kent Hawks. That was your youth team. So like what was it like going throughout that organization into high school where you went to Kelowna Hills High or Kanoa
It
Hills
was
High?
interesting. It was interesting. I had like a very interesting like youth path. I played like obviously like travel hockey, and then there was like a few years right before high school where I like didn't make the high school team, and it was teeter tottering. There wasn't really AAA hockey where we're from, so it was really weird. I played like a travel league that was just like kind of in Michigan, but it wasn't like Little Caesars. It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was a good league though. It was competitive, and then it was like a JV league basically, and it got me ready for varsity. And I played 3 years of varsity, and that's what really kind of changed everything for me. Was going from all of that, going through all that. Really, it was. I wouldn't say I ever played in like a super skilled league, so it was always kind of preparing for the physicality of like what was to come.
Yeah.
So it was a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for sure. And like I would imagine that it's a lot of fun no matter what league. Like you could be playing the most skilled league or the like a league that doesn't have any skill, and like you're just out there still having fun, still buzzing around with all your friends. Always memories to be made throughout the youth career.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because like if you're on this side of the state, there's a lot of AAA hockey. You've got Little
Yeah.
Caesars, Honey Baked. There's the list goes on and on. You've got every one of those teams has an NHL player, and then we're on the other side of the state, and we played on like I played in like the Michigan Development Hockey League, which is the MDHL. So we'd play. You'd see those guys that played in that growing up, and it's funny how like you see all that and you hear about all that, then you get on the ice and it's just another person playing hockey, and that's all it really is, right? Like they're just skating out there. Like yeah, they've been coached by someone that says this and that, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as you're out there working hard and doing the right things, that ultimately, as long as you're playing the right way, that's what matters the most.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, you're in the Michigan Development Hockey League. So like, what was your development through there? And like, when did you like start to realize that like you were actually like really starting to develop? You like get that hockey IQ and like everything was just clicking on the ice, especially like when you went into high school.
So I don't think I've ever been like the best skater. It's never really been my strong point, but I've always kind of had a knack for, especially when I was younger, for scoring goals. So just going to the net, outwilling people in front of the net was something I was pretty good at in high school. I I developed a decent scoring knack there, and it opened up some doors for junior hockey. Just like I played, like I said, I played hard throughout those years. Like wasn't necessarily always scaling guys, but I definitely outworked guys and definitely had to come with the right attitude almost every single day. You learn to not let little things bother you. And like when something doesn't go right, you just let that slide right off your back and, put the turtle shell on, just keep going forward. It doesn't have to necessarily be the fastest, but as long as you get there, right?
Yeah, have like a short term memory and like let all the like the bad things just go off of you and then just focus on whatever's ahead of you, whether that be the next practice, the next game, just forget about what happened in the past.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, and then you go like you said earlier, you got cut from high school teams, so like you faced that adversity like right away. So like what was important for the to you to for you to face that adversity right away and just keep overcoming it? Because I know a lot of people might just get down on themselves and then like it eventually like fades them out of the game. So like
No,
what are tips
definitely.
that you would give?
So like getting cut is like I think it's one of the most important parts of our game, and like especially like the further you go, the more it's inevitably going to happen, right? Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
speaking from experience, like you're going to get cut, it's going to happen, and like you said, it's a deterrent for some guys. Like they get cut, and all of a sudden it's that's it. They don't really see the if they had a path and that was the only path they saw, they don't see these other ones that are about to open up, and they don't even give them a chance, and that happens. It happens all the time, but for me, it was just kind of there wasn't a I didn't think there was a way I wasn't going to play hockey. That was it. I just kept showing up. Like it was if I got cut from this team, well, there's a tryout next week. I'll just go to that. It was never there's obviously a couple sour days when you do get cut,
yeah,
but it was always just, hey, I got this next week, I guess, so I'm just going to go there and see what happens. And that was literally what happened for juniors for me. So it was just, one weekend at an all camp, make it to the all-star game, get cut. The next weekend at an all camp, make it to an all-star game, get cut. Crap, we're running out of teams here, we're running out of weekends. So let's go to the NOJ camp. And then there's a GOJHL camp after that, I think. So we'll just keep them. So I remember when I was like 18, I went to, I think, like 7 camps in one summer. And it was just a ton of miles in the car, a ton of just ridiculous. And like training camps are honestly the hardest thing to
yeah,
compete in, I think, because it's all about, it's everyone's mostly playing for themselves. So it's hard to stick out, I think, and it's not necessarily like it's not like a real game where you're going to go out there and fit into someone's system and see what they're looking for. So it's just like you've got to hope that the coach is looking at you the right way and you're making the right play when he's seeing you, and hope the bounces go the right way. And that's what it is, right? Like
yeah.
it's a tryouts are crazy, and they're you don't control a ton. So what you do control is your attitude and how you handle what comes at you. And I think that's what is most important at the end of the day is just to focus on that, is focus on what you can control.
Yeah, that's super important about doing what you can to control. And like it sucks and kind of like everyone gets cut in their career, and it's just the way you look at it. Like some like you just got to go back into like the mindset of just go back to the grind. You have other camps coming up, like the next day. Like I've been cut from a bunch of teams, and the next day or take a day off, and then the next day you're back on the ice, just training for that next camp and put everything behind you, learn the lessons that you learned from that camp, and then just move on and get stronger that way.
That's all you can do, because at the end of the day, if you get cut and then you sit there for 3 weeks and you're upset about it, then that's a month that you've wasted, and
Yeah.
a month that you could have been getting better.
It's a grind. You just got to get through all the heavy stuff and just keep working at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
then you go into your junior career here with the in the NOJHL with the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners, and you played there for 2 years, playing 47, 53 games both years. Like, what was your junior career like, especially those 2 years that you were playing the Noj?
So like I said, it was really crazy, like just to even make a team and
Yeah,
then to stay on only one team for 2 years and to see how like now I've like played pro and played with a lot of guys. Like you see how many guys usually don't stick around with one team their whole time. I think it was really cool to be honest. I played for one organization, I played for one coach, and I played for with some guys. I played with a good group of guys for 2 years. And it really was at the time it really set us up for like a professional setting.
yeah,
How Mark Lafleur was. He was a very kind of an old school coach. If he didn't like what you were doing, he would tell you, and you
yeah.
knew. But but at the same time, it was kind of the coach a lot of us at the time needed. It was Kirkland Lake's a very small town. It's very cold. Saw -50 a couple times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the car wouldn't start for a couple weeks sometimes. But it was always the group of guys we always had there was always a lot of fun, and I was fortunate enough to win a championship there my second year, win the league, and that was a blast. And that's like honestly almost what keeps you going still is to try to win a championship again because once you taste that success, it's just hard to not want it again, honestly.
Yeah, I love that answer, and like you're just going into that second year, actually, like you win that championship. Like, what was that year like throughout the regular season, and then it bumps up a notch in intensity in the playoffs, and you end up winning the championship. What was that year like?
So you got to see like the process of it all because like the first year, like I said, there was a lot of guys that came in and we stuck with a lot of guys. So there was probably like 7 or 8 of us that were there for 2 years. And then you just had it was who you had added in and who came in, and it
Yeah,
was the goalies at the right time, and it was getting this defenseman in, and this player came from this team at the right time, and it was just the additions we added to that core group that made us at the time in that league. We were as good as we could have been in that league. And then we beat a good team in games. We beat the Sioux Thunderbirds in a 6 game series, and it was a good it was a very good series for all of us. We played probably the best hockey I can remember for all of that. And then yeah, we won. We went to the Dudley Hewitt and didn't exactly have the same bounces there. That's like the tournament in between the RBC there. But it was like all in all, it was just a fun experience, right? You saw the process of how a team can form with a group and how it can evolve and build and just add this, add that, and how it can become just a perfect machine, really.
yeah, and like that process is special, especially when you go through like the entire process of going regular season playoffs, winning that championship, and seeing everything develop. Like that's something special. And like once you get like that team to buy into the system or whatever the coach wants, and like you guys just bond as a team, like that's when like your teams are seriously in competition for that championship.
Definitely, definitely. It's a buy-in thing too. You got to have the right group of guys. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing. You've got to have 18 brothers in the room that really care and play for each other. At the end of the day, that's what's going to win it. If you don't have that, you're not probably going to be winning much.
Yeah, exactly. So then after your junior career comes to a close, you go 4 years at Davenport University in the ACHA. So like what was the process to get that commitment to Davenport?
So after junior, I just had a few opportunities come up, and I decided to stay home. Um, and it was a really good decision for me. I had a lot of fun, played on some really good teams. There's a lot of guys that kind of funneled through there and funneled into the Fed, and that kind of taught me how to even get into pro hockey. Like a lot of like shout outs like Matt Kaludis, Cam Dimmitt, Luke McCarthy. Those guys kind of all paved the path for Cody Walsh. Like saw those guys do it, and then I was able to kind of see what they did, and then a year or two later, I was able to just take what they did and try to do it all over again, and was able to kind of find a spot for myself in Carolina after all that.
Yeah, and college hockey is a lot of fun, especially like when you're going through like you're staying there for 4 years. Like that's all you care you really care about is like playing that college hockey. It's like going into freshman year. Like, what was that transition going from the Noj to ACHA?
It was a jump. You didn't like because everyone talks about how like the ACHA isn't this and that, and it really was a bigger jump than I thought it was going to be, especially at the time. And I think it's only gotten better. Every
Yeah,
year it would get better, in my opinion. And like especially you go to like Liberty. When I was at Davenport, we had a really good rivalry with them, and we were there. My freshman year, they didn't have the big facility they have now, but my sophomore year, we played there. We played the first ever game at the big whenever they jazzed up the place, made it all 3,000 seats and whatnot, and it is what it is now. And yeah, we played the first ever game in that when it was Davenport versus Liberty, and that was my sophomore year. We beat them pretty good. We were a good team then, like I said. We had a lot of like good players, and like I said, it was a good spot. It was a home, like it was literally playing at home for me, so it was pretty
yeah,
cool for that
yeah.
ability to like, mom and dad could see all my games, and my brother was able to come and play with me for 2 years there, so that was really cool too.
Yeah,
So
just having friends and family come down like that's awesome because you're at home, like you're in a familiar
yeah,
spot, and like you just know, no, it's just a lot more familiar, and you're able to just play more freely.
definitely no, and it was cool. It was good. It was a lot, like I said, it was a lot better hockey than I expected it to be, and then on top of that, I was home, so it gave you the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So throughout those 4 years of playing at Davenport, like what were some of like the hard nosed lessons that you learned going, especially going into pro the following year?
Countless to be honest. Especially through my 4 years, I learned so much. But just I guess to begin, it was just mostly being a good teammate. How to be a good teammate was the biggest thing for me. Um, you could see the process of how my freshman year, you didn't have the maybe we didn't have the best like care in the room for each other, and it kind of showed on the ice. And then the next year you could see a team that really cared for each other and played for each other, and everyone supported each other, and how we were really close to winning a national championship that season. And I think it all kind of correlates back to how everyone plays for each other, how
Yeah.
everyone plays. If you're playing for yourself, then you're just you can put up a ton of points, that's great, but you're probably, like I said, you're not probably going to be playing for championships, and that's what it's really about at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like you hear all the time, good like coaches want good guys that are good teammates, good character, and like just because like you're just being there for your teammates, like you're not being selfish for yourself, like you're for the team, and you're just not you're you're part of like everyone instead of just one individual, which is yourself.
Definitely. It's the difference between someone that's going to block a shot and just take that one step out of the way and let it go through, and that's the difference between winning a game and losing a game.
Yeah, exactly. So then after your senior year at Davenport, you find yourself going into the end of the Fed at with the Carolina Thunderbirds, where you played 26 games, scoring you got 9 goals, 7 assists for 16 points. So like what was that first year of professional hockey like, especially like when you're going from the Fed to the SB where you played 15 games with Roanoke as well that year?
That was a good learning experience too. It was a good year. We started off in Carolina really hot. I believe when I left, we were on like a 20 plus game win streak. So
Oh, is
that
that when you
was
guys
like,
got you guys got the record
yeah,
for like it
yeah.
was like
I was there for a
20.
lot of those. I don't even know if I think when I got called up, we were still on it. So I don't even think I was there when it ended. I was there from the beginning of it though, and it was 20 plus when I left. It was truly
Wow.
insane. Like, and some of the stuff that happened that year was just like we were just reflecting on some of it. It was eye opening. Like this league is something else, and you get that like right away. I don't know if you've heard the story about the shootout before the game, but like we had that happen. Like you have all the travel, whatever happened, and
Yeah.
it's not. There's a lot of negative press that comes with it too, and it is what it is. Like buses break down in every league
Yeah.
in America. That's a fact. Like it doesn't matter. You can go to the East Coast League. You can go to the SJ. You can go to any league in the world. The buses are going to have an issue sometimes. It's not even that. It's playing in Carolina is a special place too as well. It's a very special place to play hockey. It's different. It's not the same, I'd say, than anywhere else.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that Carolina's a fun spot to play. And like you, especially going on that 20 game winning streak, like the boys are buzzing. Like you just feel like you guys are invincible and like you're just gonna find a way to win no matter what.
Yeah, there wasn't many games going into that year that you didn't feel like you had a good chance of winning. I can't think of. We were definitely the after a couple of weeks. You kind of the thing about the Fed is you find out where everyone lies after about like week 3 or 4 because
Yeah.
everyone has to play each other first because you truly have no idea who's going to land where and you got to let everything fizzle out. And by about the third week, it was pretty evident that we were going to be a very good team. Like, we had everything at that point, and it was just a matter of like who's going to get called up, who's going to be here, and but that team had there was so much depth there. It was that team was insanely good, and it was another group of guys that were every guy there I can say for is a great guy there. We didn't have anyone that was any out of character guys didn't last. Like it just was another one of those just machine like teams where you just put one thing out, one another thing will go right in and plug in that hole and be just fine.
Yeah, that's unreal, especially when you have teams like that. And then like you said, you got called up to the SB. It's like, what was that transition going from the Fed to the SB?
It was a good jump. Like it jumped into another good group of guys that were already like had been around for a while. Like the leadership group of that team has was established. Like you had Steve Mealy who had already led the league in goals for a while. You had a lot of guys, Travis Armstrong, Colin Murray, like just a lot of good veterans that were there that led the way. They showed everyone the path really of how to be a good pro, really,
Yeah.
how to show up to the locker room on time early, get your stretching in. It was just a really like that was truly like just another good example of just going from spot to spot, seeing and just trying to fit in. Really, just having a like there was so many good players there, and it was such a good team. It was another one of those things where we show up and it was pretty we had a good chance of winning almost every single game we were playing just because of how good we were.
Yeah. And so like what does it mean to be a pro? And like especially like when you're a rookie coming in, not knowing like the professional game, like what do you do to help teach the younger guys about what it's like being a pro?
The thing is you only got to really your day as a pro is 3 to 5 hours long. It's anywhere between 9 a.m. to noon or maybe 1. So it's that stuff's easy. Honestly, showing up to the rink, going through the doing the drills, competing, that's the easy stuff in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the what do you do with the rest of your day and the rest of your time? That's where it's more of the learning curves for guys. It's just learning how to be productive with your free time and making sure that you're doing the right stuff for your body, making sure you're eating right, getting the right sleep. Because this is way too grueling of a grind. There's too much travel to not do
Yeah.
that stuff. Like it fizzles guys out really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And like especially like sleep, like you're going through like what 11, 12 hour bus rides and it's hard to sleep. So it's like what are you doing to sleep before like road trips just to get that extra amount that you need to grind it out?
Yeah, no, you need rest. Rest is huge here. It's you need to be able to take a break. But you also at the same time you need to know when to maybe not rest so much. You need to know when, hey, it's
Yeah.
time to go to the gym. It's time to get a sauna, and it's time to do the right things. Time to mix in a healthier meal. Like just a lot of little things like that. That sometimes when you're young, you can get away with trying to eat McDonald's 3 times a week, but it
Yeah.
ain't probably work out very long for you. So just telling
Yeah.
guys, okay, it's probably done with that, huh? Like you're probably good on your it's probably done with the fast food for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then the following year, you spent time in Roanoke, you spent time in Carolina again, and you got loaned to Peoria, and then same thing. You're with Carolina the following year and Elmira, and like you spent majority of your career with Carolina. So like, what were those 3 years after your first year like?
Roller coaster, really. The first year after, went back to Roanoke, like you said. Didn't really. We went from having like a playoff team and having like a good little core there to like it just didn't work out the next year, and that happens. So I went back to Carolina, and we started having some more success. And as we started having success, Peoria gave me a call, went there, and then pandemic hit.
Of course.
So yeah, so it just is what it is, and you know, yeah, it was just a roller coaster of a year. And then going into the pandemic, linked up with Elmira for a good part of that year, and that was good group, good learn, good team. Then decided wasn't really for me, so I went back to Carolina for a game or two, and unfortunately that was a weird year, so I only played a few games, and then the following year just played some games last year in Carolina again. So been
Yeah. So
going back there for a while
yeah,
now, so just
yeah,
kind
must
of
must be a special place for you.
it was a fun spot. Yeah, good place to. It was a good place to start in the league. Like it was definitely a really good fan base. They really know how to take care of you. Like the boosters are great. Andre was great for a good coach. Then Garrett was a good coach as well. So I can't say anything organization wise. It's a great place to play. Can't
Yeah.
argue with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you've been through the trenches, the roller coaster. It's like what are some tips that you give younger guys that go through that roller coaster and like those ups and downs throughout the season and just stay consistent and just continue throughout the grind because it's gonna be like there might be down time, but like it's gonna go back up.
Yeah, it's just like you said. It's you're gonna have your good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Try to have more good than bad, and when you have your good days, ride those days out because they're like you said, the bad days. Like it's the game of hockey is crazy because you look at it and there might some days there's going to be a 3 goal game and it's 2-1. Some games it's going to be a 10 goal game, and it
Yeah.
all matter of such little things that make that up. It doesn't you have such little control over it. Honestly, at the end of the day, that you just have to kind of find a way to let that type of stuff not matter as much and just find a way to find your little happiness and whatever makes you play the best. You got to find what makes you play the best.
Yeah, absolutely. You just gotta find whatever makes you feel good and just ride it out as long as you can, and then find something else that makes you feel good.
No, exactly. You just got to have. You're gonna have spurts, right? You're gonna have spurts
Yeah,
where you're hot. You're gonna have those, and you gotta take advantage of them because when you go cold, you gotta. And when you do go cold, you inevitably have to find a way to not stay cold.
yeah,
That's the trick, right? Like, don't let 5 games turn into 6. You got to learn how to turn the tide around, and it's all mental. It's just how you
yeah,
approach it, right? Like it's the same game no matter what.
yeah. Exactly. You just gotta find that extra boost, and then hopefully something turns around, and you're able to go on another hot streak.
Exactly. No, and they're always around the corner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But to end the show, what like you always hear about like what's like welcome to the Fed moments, welcome to pro hockey. Like, what was your welcome to the Fed or pro hockey moment?
Ooh, welcome to the Fed moment. My first welcome to the Fed moment was don't know if I want to say this one.
Say something that's
Buff
not gonna get you in trouble.
yeah. I guess my first welcome to the Fed moment was it was like I think it was only my third or fourth shift of the game, and I just got stuck in the leg by someone just
Oh,
absolutely out of nowhere. Just speared me in the groin, and I looked up and I was kind of remembered. Oh yeah, we can fight, and I just shed the mitts and I grabbed a guy, and like it was only like my third or fourth shift of the game, and I was like, all right, well that's got that out of the way. So yeah, I fought in like my first 3 or 4 shifts, I guess. So there you go.
first fight out of the way quick as you can, and
Yeah,
then focus the rest of the game.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but my final question for you is like you have your own agency, player consulting agency. It's like what
Yeah.
got you into that?
So it's not my own. I can't say that. But it
Wow.
is a group of guys that I work for. It's called Stretch Pass Advising. Mostly what we do right now is we help kids that are going through the junior hockey process get into college. Long story short. So we're really focusing on players that are either going into junior or already playing junior and helping them find schools or helping them find a junior team and navigate all through that. And it's really cool. It's a side of the game I find very enjoyable. I wish I would have had something.
Yeah.
It's something I wish I would have had accessible to me. So I think it's just something that's like it's just a tool for guys to have that maybe if they don't come from a family that doesn't have the hockey background, the expertise, so they don't get finagled around, so everyone gets a fair shot at it's just a new
Yeah.
way to open some doors, hopefully.
Yeah, just get whoever the player is an opportunity, and just because it is such a like it can get so like messy with all that junior and college stuff. So just to give everyone a fair shot, I love it.
Exactly. No, it's just help guys with some insight, help guys find a school, help them with all that process. We've got a couple guys on our team that are really, really good guys that really can help guys get into schools. They know how to do all the right things. So it's just there's a lot of things that people forget sometimes. Like you need to have good test scores if you want to go to good
Yeah,
schools. So those things are really important, and we try to help kids navigate that the best of our ability.
yeah, that's awesome. Like everyone appreciates what you do for them. But Everett, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with this season. Hopefully, ends with another championship.
That's what we're going for here, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.